These three sets of insects sure look like each other. Can you spot the differences between the top insects and their lookalikes on the bottom? An insect will sometimes evolve to look like another species for protection from predators or camouflage. Although all three of these insects exhibit mimicry, it is important to know the different types of mimicry to understand their reasons for this evolution.
The first pair shows Batesian mimicry. This theory was first proposed in 1861 by Henry Bates. While collecting butterflies in the Amazon, he realized the slowest moving individuals were frequently the most brightly colored. Though they would seem to be easy prey, predators often ignored them. After grouping his specimens, he discovered most of the brightly colored butterflies were common, close related, and distasteful to predators. However, there were some distantly related butterflies that shared this bright coloration, so he suspected rare butterflies mimicked the common ones to gain protection from predators. This type of mimicry is essentially when an edible animal is protected by its resemblance to a noxious one that is avoided by predators. Predators learn to avoid the model and the mimic fits right in. In our example, the harmless hoverfly resembles a wasp. We can see intuitively how resembling a dangerous species might offer the hoverfly protection from predation. If a potential predator of the fly has encountered a wasp, it probably knows to stay away. However, it also may play a part in gaining access to food. If the fly resembles a wasp, other insects that also want to eat from the flower the fly is at may stay away.
Malaria mimicry has been discovered almost 130 years ago by Fritz Muller when he proposed an evolutionary theory about coexisting unpalatable prey species. His hypothesis was that unpalatable species evolved into a similar appearance to reduce their mortality rate. One of the most common Mullerian mimicry examples that we'll be discussing are the viceroy and monarch butterflies. For the monarch and the viceroy butterfly, their patterns of orange and black wing coloration are a form of survival but are not the reason why they are unpalatable. The monarch has a toxic substance known as cardiac glycosides, which resulted from feasting on milkweed plants as caterpillar. On the other hand, the viceroy was more recently discovered unpalatable due to the feasting on the leaves of willows and poplars. The monarch and viceroy were considered as Batesian mimicry until the early 1990s when zoologists David B. Ritland and Lincoln P. Bauer proposed a new theory on Mullerian mimicry. They published a research where they experimented on avian predators and the palatability of the viceroy. Basically, they fed birds the wingless abdomens of the viceroy and monarch. The researchers found that the birds reject both butterflies, therefore proving the Mullerian mimicry between the two butterflies.
This final pair represents Wassmannian mimicry. Erich Wassmann was an Austrian entomologist. It was during his research on ants and evolution that he described this type of mimicry. However, it wasn't defined until 1970 with Karl Rettenmeyer's research on army ants. Over the course of his research, he encountered a strange symbiotic relationship. Hidden among the ants was a beetle, the army ant beetle, and it was practically indistinguishable from its ant models. In Wassmannian mimicry, the mimic copies its host's appearance and often scent in order to live in the same nest or colony. This means it is mostly seen in colonial insects, such as ants, termites, bees, and wasps. Once inside the nest, the army ant beetles eat the colony's food and young. This relationship has proven to be so beneficial that it has evolved independently in at least 12 species. All have mimicked the shape of the ants with long hind legs, tiny waists, and an abdomen that sticks upward.
Insects aren't the only ones that exhibit mimicry. In fact, certain wild orchids will mimic bees to trick their males into pollinating other orchids. The purple spot on this orchid resembles the iridescence of a female bee's wings. The fringed hairs around the flower look just like a fuzzy bee abdomen. The flower even smells like the female bees. As male bees attempt to mate with the orchid, they pollinate this orchid species. Through mimicry, the orchid can increase its pollen transfer efficiency. Mimicry has evolved naturally for many different reasons. Mimicry is a tool a species uses to protect itself and ensure survival.